When conducting strategic analysis, why are historical results a critical component? Within strategic analysis in the strategy whiteboard, we have our culture, our external impacts, our internal evaluation, and then finally the historical results. The historical results play a key role because we want to know what has happened in the past. From a financial perspective, so many times when we start putting together strategies or we're in a workshop, everybody gets really excited about what we're going to do. And then when it comes time to actually identify whether or not we can do this from a financial perspective, sometimes the answer to that is no. So we get really aggressive in terms of what we want to do, but then we're restricted to some extent based on our financial results. So if we're in a company that is independent or privately held, we tend to worry a little bit more about cash flow. And if we don't have the cash flow to support our strategic focus and outcomes, then we're wasting our time doing the planning. So this is where we look at the historical results and we identify those key metrics. What are the key metrics within an organization that you look at that really give you a sense of how the company's doing? And that might be 5 key metrics. And these are macro metrics, so to speak. So they represent the whole company. And we place them here. We use MyDat in this example. MyDat is a company that we look at and that we use for these examples. And under the historical results in strategic analysis for MyDat, we go back 3 years and we look at the global market share, revenue, cost of goods sold, net income, and devices sold. Now, MyDat is a fairly large company. So in this context, we're looking at metrics that really relate to more public company type metrics, the information that is available. You might be a smaller company that says, we have no idea what our market share is. We're just really trying to make payroll on Friday. And in that case, we want to look at things like cash flow. We want to look at gross profit or our return on various different things, looking at various different margins that tell us how much income or cash flow we have in order to support the growth of the company. Because if you're going to look at significant growth in the future of the company in your strategic focus and outcomes, if you're looking at significant growth or you want to achieve significant growth, you've got to fund it from somewhere. So in the strategic analysis section under historical results, you'll look at what your financial capabilities are. And then you can evaluate that. But then when you start putting together your customer and market focus, product focus, operations, and people focus, you can then go, how are we going to fund this? And if you can fund it internally, great. If you need to go find other alternative sources of funding, this is where you start figuring that out in your operations focus. So you might come up and say, hey, we don't have the cash to fund our customer and market focus. But under operations, we look at an operational outcome and or an operational strategic action where we go into various different things and identify various different actions. And one of those actions might be we need to identify or increase our line of credit in order to support our customer acquisition strategy, and or we need to increase our funding to support a product expansion. You might even trigger a conversation, or this might even trigger a conversation around getting other investors in the game. So what comes out of your historical results here will then feed into your strategic focus and outcomes for your customer and market, product ops, and people. So we have a baseline, and then we can actually say, how are we going to do this? How are we going to fund this? Not just the tactics, but how are we going to fund this? So that's one of the uses of historical results in the strategy whiteboard, because so many times we go off, we spend 3 days, we put all these great ideas together, and then we just don't have the cash to do it. So this gives us the opportunity to identify how we're going to fund our future growth.